Hi everyone, welcome to the Platform Special Interest Group meeting. Today is our 7th meeting in a row and we have some topics to discuss. Today we have Sam Van Oort, Mark Waite, Ramon and Adrian on the call. Maybe somebody else join while we have a discussion. And yeah, I'll probably just share my screen and start from there. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So if anybody wants to join, we have a participant link posted in the GitHub channel. And as usual, we have a meeting notes document. And here you may find links to today's meeting notes and also to the recording. This session will be recorded and we'll publish it later. Today we have 3 topics proposed for the agenda. It's Java 11 support status update. Then job 217, it's about experimental organization on Docker Hub for delivering images. And I also wanted to spend some time to talk about Windows Slaves plugin, which is no longer Windows Slaves plugin. And yeah, I think it was some discussion. Does anybody has any other topics for today's meeting? No. So yeah, we have not Mark today. Sorry, we don't have Alex Earl today on the call, and we also don't have Durgadas. So yeah, I believe we'll stick to Java 11. And yeah, probably I'll quickly summarize what we've got for Java 11, and then we will switch to action items. So last week, as we discussed at the previous meeting, we announced support preview availability of Java 11. So there is a blog post posted on Jenkins.io which provides some information which explains how to run Jenkins Java 11 in Docker and in Word files. So we are fully live, and the first milestone for Java 11 is completed. And our next steps is to work towards general availability and to fix some compatibility issues, including pipeline support, including JAX-B bundling in Jenkins core and other things. But generally, the current version is already available for usage, and yeah, we've already got some feedback in the community. And actually, this Tuesday we had a Java 11 support preview meetup at the Jenkins Online meetup. Sorry, Firefox still shows everything in Russian for me. Yeah, I'll probably switch to Chrome then. But yeah, we had a meeting on Tuesday. The Baptiste and other members of Java 11 support team presented the current status, provided some guidelines how to work with Java 11. And if you're interested, you can just go to the meetup page, and there is a link to the YouTube recording, so you can just watch that. And there are also some presentation slides. We will link it here soon as well. So one of our projects, Java 11 support, here it's fully live and available for usage. This is probably the main update for today.
And if you'd like, I can speak to the pipeline status on this.
Oh, you seeded it. I was going to ask the question, Sam. Well played. Yes, yeah. I wanted to hear. Okay, what is the pipeline status? What have you learned?
All right, so we've learned a lot of things that it isn't. It doesn't appear to be truncated serialization. It doesn't appear to be a significant change. It doesn't appear to be data omitted that's causing failures. There are some subtle changes in the binary format, as we knew, but the errors we're seeing are highly reproducible, and putting inputs and outputs side by side, there looks to be very, very little difference, but yet there are failures still. So we've dove in quite deep into this, and we're down to the point at which we are now trying to pick a needle out of a haystack out of the code changes within JBoss marshalling at this point. And I would like to throw the door open for anyone who might have ideas about how to get this to a more straightforward solution, or quick or clever solutions, to take a look at Jenkins 55174. Because I think this is one at this point where any eyes on this would be helpful. I've got basically I've got binary outputs before and after. I've got thread dumps before and after. If you diff the two, you can see what the difference is. It's not huge. There's something in here is causing a subtle breakage reading the program, very reproducible even in the most trivial case.
Yeah, and we also hit it in the plugin compatibility tester. So this originally reported by Adrian.
I think that's a big red flag. I wish the news was, yes, we fixed everything. It's beautiful. It's golden. Paths are cleared. But as we know, sometimes when dealing with complex code, that is not how these things play out. We've at least been able to eliminate a large category of changes. We think on the basis of the evidence that it is something subtle specifically in the handling of read resolve or field deserialization. But the changes here add up to a couple thousand lines of changes in a very complex code base. So basically we're we're at the point of trying to dig in one line at a time to look to see what it's doing individually.
It's a kind of despair mode.
Yeah, I wasn't going to characterize it like that, but I'm sure you guys can hear a little bit of frustration in my voice right now.
Yeah, would it help if we got JBoss remoting and marshalling developers on the call and maybe?
Oh, yes, please. If you have any contact to anyone who's active in this code base, please put them in touch with me. I would love to have a chat with them, and I promise to avoid using any particularly offensive words to describe my experiences debugging this.
Well, it's a low-level library, so it's not supposed to be easy for debug, I guess.
I've seen some comments in the code base that indicate they're like, this is delicate code. Are you sure you've tested this? So I think it's known even on their side to be very complicated and very something deep down in the dark, scary internals that you don't want to touch without due caution.
Okay, so I'll try to follow up on that because I have some idea how to get this feedback. But I will try.
Yeah, I think we need one of them. I can do this, but it's going to be days and days and days and days and days of going line by line by line at this point.
So it may be quite complicated for the Christmas time.
Yeah, you can. Well, you can look at you can look at the program.dat. You can look at the thread dumps. You'll see the thread dumps look basically identical aside from line numbers.
Yeah. So we'll definitely investigate that. And actually, it's really important for the GA release. In preview availability, we offer a workaround, but this issue is not fully solved by the workaround. So we hit it a few times, including plugin compat tester. And effectively, this is one major blocker for any kinds of discussions of GA availability in Jenkins.
Yeah, and this is not an easy fix. Well, it's not an easily debugged issue. I mean, we hit everything else that we could from pipeline side. We've resolved. Most of those were fast and easy. It's just that solving the fast and easy stuff revealed the one that is really not easy.
Yeah. Sam, it might be useful to create a GitHub push to JBoss marshalling, so maybe we could get response. So if you could initiate this discussion, it would help me.
I think so, but I think that they prefer to accept them via JBoss Jira submissions.
Okay. Or maybe if you could create a JBoss issue then.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me see if I have access.
Just to give voice to that, my experience with working with the command line Git developer on Windows and with the JGit developers was awe-inspiring. How much those people wanted to help the Jenkins project. It truly surprised me. I felt like I was coming in from nowhere asking for their help, and they immediately kicked in and said, "Oh yeah, let us help this way." So worth asking for help from other experts.
Yeah. I totally second Mark's experience, and here we definitely don't ask a stupid question, and we definitely a really good effort to investigate it on our side. So getting some help would help us.
I'm glad I raised the flag in this one. Then that would be I mean, if we can get an expert on this, they may know where to drill in for this, because I think at this point it's either that or trying to parse the code base ourselves.
Which sucks.
Yeah. Well, it's doable in some cases. It's just.
I've added the link to the profile of the main developer. It seems like there's basically one. So,
oh, good.
DM Lloyd. Dave Lloyd. Okay. Oh, he's a Red Hatter. Okay.
So yeah, I know how to reach out to him. Okay. So yeah, I think this is one of the major issues we have.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what else we have on the table. So, or maybe some you have other status updates.
That's the big one for me. I mean, this is the boulder that we've been trying to roll out of the mountain pass for the better part of a month now. On and off, working with other stuff as well.
Yeah, right. And thanks a lot for doing that.
No worries.
Thanks very much, Sam.
I wish it was more straightforward at this point.
So, yeah. Oleg, I did start exploratory testing of JDK 11 with my test environment, reported something in Gitter, but I don't have anything substantive to report other than I was surprised when a bunch of my pipelines seemed to hang with no CPU usage. It may be that it's an existing bug in Java 8 as well. I have no evidence that says it's specific to Java 11. Right, you're highlighting exactly that. I don't have anything else to report except that, yeah, I saw something odd. I'll investigate further and ask more questions later.
Yeah, right. So if you have thread dumps, it would be helpful. And yeah, even if you have suspicion, it would be really nice if you create a Jira ticket.
Right.
So we at least know about this issue because yeah, it's all, if pipeline hangs, most likely it's related to pipeline. Yeah. And yeah, then it's better to have a tracking issue for that.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. So let's take a look what else we have on the table. Over the last 2 weeks, we spent a lot of time to get plugin compatibility testing over the fence. So if we take a look at job 211, am I still screen sharing?
You are.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, in testing, we have Google document with testing status. So just to summarize the thing, we spent a lot of time on development tools. So it's not only a plugin compatibility tester, it's also acceptance test harness. So we discovered that there were some issues in merged commits in acceptance test harness, and Ramon and then Baptiste spent a lot of time to get the things running. But it seems that it's much better now. Is it?
What?
I'm not sure he heard your question, Oleg. Baptiste, how is the test harness working?
No, I think it was cutting off a bit because I heard that we worked on it and then I didn't hear a question. Yes, so there is now one, hopefully last PR, because the one has been merged earlier today on ATH itself. Basically, we think it probably comes from Selenium 3 change and something gets cleaned up badly, and ends up failing randomly a few tests. So if you look at Jenkins core right now, there is an open PR, which I think unfortunately failed again for another reason earlier today, like 1 hour ago or something. And the thing is, the PR from Ramon, I thought twice, not call him Raul again. So was still failing for weird reasons earlier yesterday, but still was green on once merged on master. But anyway, the status quo is that now it's much better because now the master branch doesn't fail immediately because of that missing set java.sh script. So PRs should be running fairly better, if hopefully greatly better, and possibly even green, or at least not red for totally unrelated reason, basically. So the story is not at his hand. And anyway, I would say that at some point we probably will need to think about all this twice or more, because we all know that ATH is slightly flaky or flakier than core tests, and so it's not great with regard to the speed, the delivery speed for core PRs, core changes. We've seen a lot of people, included newcomers, like I remember that one from Gavin Morgan, who's been spending a lot of time trying to debug something that was totally unrelated and was actually related to the thing we fixed. And so there, like every single PR were open the last few days or the last week or so, even before, were all failing for unrelated failures. So now it's getting better. If you look at Jenkins, if you click there and you click on commits, you should see that now there's some green, but yeah, this is not a finished story, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we haven't enabled ETH for Java 11 yet. So we are still building only Java 8 in the core, if I recall correctly.
But we still, before that, there was never ever a single failure, as far as I know, on ATH. So I do not really think it's coming from our changes for Java 11. I think it's coming more from Selenium 3 something.
Yeah.
Well, even if I'm not really sure, because actually, if you look at the pinned down version of ATH we were using before, it was already apparently Selenium 3 basis. So yeah, it's really unclear. It's, well, ATH status right now is known to be pretty special, because if you look at ATH core right now on master branch, there are 72 failures, and it's the normal state. So obviously this is, well, something that kind of becomes visible on the master core, Jenkins core, I mean. So yeah, we might want to investigate and spend some time trying to level up the flakiness of ATH itself at some point, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy, because, well, Oliver is really, really capable. I mean, so I think he spent a lot of time already trying to do that. So yeah, it's not that easy, I guess.
Yeah, right. And another update is that we have a Java 11 support in run ATH step. So we have integrated the changes needed in the pipeline library.
Yeah, and if you open the failures related to the PR you just approved, basically you see that there are other ATH failures that are unrelated again. So that's why I was saying it's not a finished story, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's always fun, but, well, we will figure it out.
So as a non-ATH user, have you found that ATH is helpful in detecting real problems, in addition to what I might call false positives, or in addition to the misleading things? Has it helped us isolate real problems?
It's hard. It's a good question. I mean,
okay, so it wasn't an obvious, immediate, oh yes, it's that there's some question there.
Well, I think, and I don't know what other think, but there are so many known about failures that you have to be, kind of an expert like Oliver is, to know, okay, that one is failing, I know why, and it's normal. That one is failing, and that's a new one, and that's not normal. And that thing is really not welcoming to newcomers, basically.
Yeah, we'll need to clean it up eventually, but, well, it's getting better.
Eventually is not feasible. I mean, probably the thing to do here is just to ignore a bunch of things, and once we get something green, we try to reopen progressively. But the state right now is, I think, I don't know, unusable for anyone that's not been working on that code base forever.
Yeah. So there is a thread from Oliver in developer mailing list is about future of ATH or something like that.
Even from Lucy, I think.
Oh yeah, from Lucy.
Ivo Tipko.
Yeah, that was it. It was the second link on your list on your.
Okay, I messed it up.
Okay, go on. Alt back. alt left. Yeah, right.
But this, I think that perhaps all PRs in Jenkins core are failing because they need to merge with the master to get the new changes in the essentials file. That's fix the problem.
Normally not, because normally what's the current behavior is that, so if you look at the statuses of PRs, there's that thing called PR merge. That means that PR are merged by Jenkins and then tested. And when you merge something on master, everything gets rebuilt against that new master. So if not yet, it means that the ci.jenkins.io is probably full and not building yet. But this is the normal behavior. This has been the behavior for like the last few months, if not year, because this has been created also a lot of frustration among developers, because each time someone merges a PR on master branch of the core, it kills the ci.jenkins.io for hours, because we have to rebuild dozens of PRs.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So that's a good thing in that regard, that you're talking about, Ramon, because indeed we rebuild the PR that got failing for an unrelated reason. But that the downside of that is that indeed we rebuild everything each time, and when things are already green, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah,
somewhat.
Well, waste of Asia credits for start, I think.
It's possibly more a matter indeed of priority. If we were able to say, okay, plugins, for instance, plugin new PRs would be, going through with higher priority instead of the things that are already in the queue, probably people wouldn't complain so much. Because things that got rebuilt, during the night for something that got filed like months or years ago, nobody cares about anymore. It's just that's probably one that frustrates people the most.
Yeah, we were trying to clean up pull requests together with Daniel Beck. So we merged dozens of old pull requests or closed them over last year, but yeah, we still have more than 100 open PRs in Jenkins core, though 50% of them are only several months old. So, but yeah, we still improve a lot. Okay, anything else about acceptance test harness? I assume no. So regarding plugin compat tester, over last week we also spent a lot of time testing recommended plugins and plugins appearing in Jenkins installation wizard. So you may see the status here. Actually, we tested more plugins because there are cross dependencies, etc. And we plan to spend more time on testing, I guess. And actually, we discovered some new defects using plugin compatibility tester, though the most of the work was actually about fixing plugin compatibility tester itself, because we discovered that there is a lot of compatibility issues, a lot of missing features. For example, PCT wasn't compatible with incremental releases till we started working on that. So we needed a lot of patches just to make it passing. But after that, we actually got a number of results. So, for example, PCT discovers this null pointer exception issue in pipeline support. There are also other issues we hit. For example, in metrics plugin, there is some code which is not compatible with Java 11. And yeah, there are other plugins which also require some fixes. And last but not least, there are development tools. So sometimes when we need to run against Java 11, we need to update dependencies, especially Power Mock Makita. So any test using mocking actually needs, any plugin using mocking needs update before testing for Java 11. But well, we are moving forward, and we still got good additional coverage. So yeah, we can test more nowadays. And the plugin compatibility tester is now a tool available to all plugin developers. So anybody can take it, this experimental branch, and then just get results. Adrian, would you like to add something about PCT?
I think you covered mostly the subject. Also, you mentioned the branch, but I think that's mainly everything is merging master now, or will be soonish. So even the master branch should be available to test for JDK 11.
Yeah, we have two outstanding pull requests here. One is support of running PCT against incremental releases.
Yeah,
the one
that's not really related to JDK 11.
Yeah, because it fails on Java 8 as well.
Yeah.
But since more and more plugins migrate to incrementals mode,
exactly.
Well, we need to update us up.
So
and
self-dependencies resolution, I guess it's also not related to Java 11. We just hit issues with some plugins like JUnit and structs. Due to whatever reason, effective POMs generated for the recent versions, they include self-dependency. So JUnit plugin depends on JUnit plugin. And no wonder it crashes during the Maven build. Yeah, we had to apply some hacks to prevent that. So it's also waiting for integration.
Yeah, we had other cyclic dependencies that were not that straightforward, but that were also resolved by the work of Oleg. So yeah, I'd say the PCT now is more usable to validate plugins, and should be used a bit more by plugin maintainers, I guess. Or rather, it's for JDK 11 support or not.
So Oleg, where would Oleg or Adrian, where would I find more information? I am a PCT non-user right now that I should probably become a PCT user. Where can I find more information to teach me how to use PCT effectively?
Surprise, there is documentation.
Excellent.
Yeah, when we were working on JEP 200, our initial state was that PCT wasn't compatible with Jenkins 2.x at all, and there was no documentation. But over the last year, we improved it a lot, because we firstly had JEP 200, then we had Evergreen and Essentials test framework, then now we have Java 11, and PCT got improved a lot. And there are some Java 11 specific guidelines. If you open the page for Java 11, the developer guide. Oh, it should be automatically adding Jenkins for me. Okay, so I'll just find this page. It was also created over last week by Baptiste. So yeah, this is a page which includes a lot of stuff, and effectively it contains critical links like how to run PCT with Java 11, how to run ETH with Java 11. So it just refers documentation and external sources. But yeah, you can use it as a main landing page if you're a developer and want to do something about Java 11.
And if something is missing, you're encouraged to actually leave a comment or something so that we know what's unclear or whatever, obviously.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so it's if I use the developer guidelines and specifically follow that link to the plugin compatibility tester document, that should take me through getting started as a completely inexperienced PCT starter. Great, thank you.
So usage of PCT is really easy nowadays because firstly we offer Docker images. So if you want to just test your plugin, it's something like that. Or you can check out local sources, etc. And if you need something specific, you can use PCT as a CLI tool, and it's also documented here.
Yeah, I'm worried more about an incrementalified pair of plugins, so I suspect I need the pull request that adds incremental support.
Yeah, you need it, but yeah, hopefully we'll get it integrated soon.
Okay, great, thank you.
So once a pull request merged, we have continuous delivery of Docker images. For CLI, it's a bit complicated because there was no releases of PCT for a while. So last release was in March 2017. We probably need to recover the release flow here, but okay, that's what we have. So yeah, you can just take Docker image for starters.
Great.
Yeah, and by the way, if you use Java 11, maybe it's better to not use the Docker image because I'm getting a from somebody. I'm not sure where. Okay, so we still have one issue with PCT in Docker because there is, sorry, something goes wrong. There is one compatibility issue with PCT and development tools. So in some cases, Maven Shopify plugin just crashes within the Docker image, and sometimes it crashes in the local run. But in Docker, it gets reproduced almost 100% of time. So we will need to fix that. I'm just looking for the ticket. Can it run efficiently? So it's Shopify 1588. It's what we already fixed. Oh, yeah. PCT sometimes crashes on Java 11 due to model read errors. So this is something we still need to investigate why it happens. And until it's happened, it's better to run PCT locally for Java 11. Yeah, so effectively, we'll need to do something, and we have issues with upstream Jakarta models. So I'm not sure how we will approach that. Okay. Yeah. So just use PCT locally for Java 11. It's important for now. Okay, that's the current status. One of the interesting things is that we started getting some feedback from the field. So there was one issue reported this week for Java 11. But yeah, technically we still need to clean up this history. You may see that there is a bunch of tickets we need to do for the J availability, but the most of these tickets are about development tools. There are not so many regressions we need to fix so far. So yeah, maybe it's a matter of weeks till we're able to deliver Java 11 support in GE, and we mostly depend on the pipeline support fix right now. Though some other bits would be nice to fix as well. Okay, anything else about Java 11?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay, then yeah, we have something like 15 minutes left, so probably we can glance through other topics. Okay, experimental support of Jenkins organizations on Docker Hub. Last meeting, we had a discussion that it would be great to somehow automate the things, and we have a number of action items. So if we take a look at the previous meeting, we agreed that we actually need whatever Jenkins for eval credentials on CI Jenkins IO. So Oliver has created a user. I have created JEP in order to document the flow. And currently, this flow is available for evaluation. So if you open JEP 211, I should really start closing tabs. Okay, JEP 217. So yeah, JEP 217 is a new JEP which actually documents the current behavior, and it includes a sample pipeline script which can be reused. Now there is one update pending here, and actually this is an important topic to discuss about this update. So yeah, this update includes two bits. One is about guidelines. It just reflects what Olivier has done on the infrastructures, and whomever wants to try experimental deployments from CI Jenkins IO, you just need to follow these guidelines. I'm currently creating a patch from one of my Docker-based repositories, and generally everybody can contribute a patch. And we need these patches soon because there is ongoing story about multi-architecture Docker images, so for ARM and for other platforms. So there is a email thread about that. and we actually need to get this experimental infrastructure over the fence, so we get Docker images over the fence as well. I hope we will finally get it done, because yeah, it was around for several months already. So we will need to do that. And yeah, the second part of this topic, which is quite unfortunate, is about Jenkins for eval. So the story behind it, that in August we were discussing the name. We agreed to have a name Jenkins Experimental, but then it appears that Docker Hub doesn't support organization names with dashes. And yeah, after that we agreed to use Jenkins for eval as a name. And last week there was a feedback from Liam Newman that Jenkins for eval implies some references to Jenkins 4. And since we do not plan to release Jenkins 4 anytime soon, probably it's confusing. So there is an open question, how should we name it? And if somebody has any comments or ideas about that, it would be much appreciated.
Jenkins Lab.
Jenkins for the fun.
Yeah,
I think Jenkins Lab is a good idea.
Jenkins Lab?
Jenkins
yeah,
Lab.
I'm a little hesitant personally on that one because of possible association with a certain source control vendor who whose name ends in the three letters LAB.
Really? I never heard about that.
Yeah.
But isn't the problem, Oleg, with anything that uses the digit 4 that it may have the same objection from Liam about version numbers?
Exactly. So Jenkins for fun, even if it's fun, but yeah, it still doesn't pass.
Jenkins eval only.
Yeah,
It depends. I mean, there's two possibilities. So experimental would be just you're replacing that by an underscore, I believe.
Yeah.
Then there would be Jenkins for eval, but with FOR.
right.
Yeah, and the idea from Liam was that, yes, so his idea was to have Jenkins futures.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that it has the same inference, right? That this is something coming.
Yeah, unless you have economic degree, then, well, then it's like Jenkins coin.
Jenkins coin. Oh.
Insert Jenkins coin.
Yeah, I think Sam's comment in the chat window is brilliant. Jenkins cannot come up with a name for awesome.
What? Sorry, I didn't see the chat.
No, you should not put it in the notes. I think Sam put it in the chat specifically so it wouldn't go in the notes.
IDs.
Well, probably we'll hit the organization name length limitation.
Right.
That's incidentally you were trying to you're load testing Docker Hub.
I think so. This one, nope. And I believe this one also nope, taking the comments from Liam.
Could we not just call it like Jenkins unstable or something?
Yeah, or Jenkins next, or let's see. That's a good point.
Or even Jenkins Lab in plural.
Or wait, Jenkins bleeding edge.
Jenkins, don't use it.
Okay.
People might argue that it's always bleeding a little bit.
But I like the Jenkins next and unstable.
Yeah, the problem is that whatever we do, it looks weird.
Yeah, I mean, we probably cannot, go without an underscore so that it's kind of clear because
you cannot use underscore as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Jenkins next actually because I think Jenkins unstable might make us the butt of some jokes, and I would rather not set ourselves up for that.
Right.
So, but is Jenkins next a safe thing? I guess it's well. There's so many vectors for the evolution of Jenkins because it's such a substantial project. Is Jenkins? I guess Jenkins next we would envision as an umbrella. Anything potentially, no matter where it is, could go under the Jenkins next umbrella. eval for me has less of an inference of, oh, it'll be released soon than Jenkins Next does.
Well, Jenkins Next may cause an assumption that it will be released, which is not exactly true. So it may be released or it may be not released. But well, Jenkins Next is something like Jenkins Futures. So yeah, why not?
Right. I guess if you're right, if Liam's Jenkins Futures would be okay, why not then Jenkins Next? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've just had a look locally. Are you sure underscores are in forbidden? It's not.
At least it's my understanding. So he's a very interesting to read thread. Well, yeah, Docker Hub community feedback gets a lot of notification. Yeah, so underscores are also prohibited as far as I can tell. We can try to create it if you want.
I just did. I just did.
Yeah,
I'm actually pushing right now, but it seems okay.
Yeah, maybe they changed something, but is it an organization or repository?
It's a repo.
Yeah, repo you can have underscores.
Oh, you mean the org?
Yeah, the org.
Yeah.
Okay, Jenkins eval. I'll kill it. Yeah, only lowercase letters and numbers.
Okay.
Maybe just, well, yeah.
So for me, Jenkins, given that Jenkins Futures was suggested by Liam, and I like the word next better than futures, I'm biased towards Jenkins Next.
Okay. Any other opinions about these things?
I would say, given it's been here for a month, we shouldn't rush it and just possibly go through the developer mailing list so that we get more ideas and possibly way out, because, well, we don't want to rush that and find another name that's going to trigger the same level of ideas. Because as far as I can tell, even if Liam's feedback is interesting and possibly to be taken in account, this is a single person feedback. And so changing everything for dozens of people or a dozen of people plus blah, 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 you know, everything that's going to be changed. And given, again, that's been there since at least last June, I don't see any reason to rush it.
Yeah, no rush at all. So we're interested to expedite the things a bit because
I agree,
after
they need to
changes,
go fast enough, but like choosing something, I mean, I'm just making sure that we don't aim at choosing something right now.
All right, we don't aim. I was just collecting feedback. And actually, if you follow the guidelines defined here, it should be okay, because with current JEP, we explicitly require that you use Docker Hub organization environment variable.
Yeah.
So once we decide to migrate, we just check it, change it in the pipeline library, and everything should continue working, because in Docker Hub you can just create new repositories by push.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, we've been changing the official repository twice already, so I don't think changing the experimental one is going to be any kind of issue anyway.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, as long as we don't delete what we have.
Well, I mean, if you've built your production, you know, on top of Jenkins for eval, then you should have done that.
But yeah, for example, for Java 11, we start from
we don't have.
releases.
I don't want to be offensive, but we have no time to waste or to lose on people that build their things on clearly experimental things. So
yeah, okay. I want to go into particular examples, but okay. Yeah, I agree. So my action item is to just poke the developer mailing list and link to this naming so that we can get some action items done. Okay, last but not least in the agenda, can we move on? So we have only a few minutes left.
No, I think we should bike shed some more.
Okay, let's do it.
So what's the next step, please? We are waiting for your next ideas then.
Oh,
or
continue.
backshading?
Oh, like.
Okay, seems no specific proposals how to sidetrack it a bit more. Okay, let's talk about slavery then. So yeah, we had a long-standing epic in Jenkins about cleaning up the old term, because all agents were called slaves before Jenkins 2.0. And actually, there is still a lot of various slave usages in the documentation. And I finally got 2 pull requests over the fence. So one was about renaming slaves to agents in Windows Slaves plugin. Yeah, so finally I landed it, just more than 1 year to get it merged. Wow, okay. And what I wanted to actually tell you that I renamed the plugin, so it's not longer called Windows Slaves plugin. Now it's called VMA Windows Agents. Because one of the major concerns, which naturally leads to extremely high installation numbers, is that whomever wants to use Windows Agents, they try to install this plugin. So we have almost 150,000 installations, though I believe that almost nobody really uses this plugin because, well, in order to use this plugin on recent Jenkins versions and on recent Windows versions, you need to firstly enable VMI in your Windows, then you need to enable DCOM, that you need to reduce all permission settings so that Jenkins can really connect over VMI to your machine and install Windows service. So it's kind of not trivial to pass through all the security introduced starting from Windows 7. So I believe that this plugin is actually not used on the most of the instances. And finally, I decided that one of a good first step is to finally rename this plugin at least. So now it's called VMI Windows Agents. And I hope that the installation number will start dropping at some point, though this plugin was originally detached from Jenkins core. So yeah, as any other detached plugin, it relies on the fact that users do not install plugins requiring called Jenkins core versions. So it was detached around 1.480 or so. And we still have a number of plugins which use all the Jenkins core versions as a dependency, so it is being installed automatically when somebody installs such plugin. But anyway, one step forward that direction. And the same SSH slaves was renamed, if I recall correctly. Oh no, it's still SSH slaves. But I believe we will rename it to SSH build agents or something like that. Unfortunately, we cannot rename it to SSH agent because SSH agent means completely different thing, not Jenkins agent. So we will have to use something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was my update. Okay. Now I just need to read the XKCD links from Baptiste. Okay, that's all for today, I guess. At least I don't have any other topics. So my question to you guys is whether this format is good or whether we need to somehow change the format of the meetings, and yeah, whether we want to add some more topics for the future.
No, I think it's fine. It's regular checkpoints. So I think it's fine, and we'll just add things as we need it if someone is requesting it, I guess.
And for me, the Google Doc to capture meeting agenda proposals and then tracking the notes in the Google Doc feels really good. I like how that's worked out so far. Oleg, let's please continue it.
Okay, so we still to the current process. And yeah, then yeah, maybe next year we'll discuss something if we have more projects. But now we have 3 ongoing projects, so it should be good enough. Okay, I guess that's it. And thanks to everybody for participating. So we have a Christmas break, and our next meeting would be it would be somewhere around New Year, I guess.
Yeah, something like this.
I assume it's 3 January, right? January 3rd is scheduled, and I plan to attend it.
It's going to be likely first or second week of January, I suppose. Yeah.
Well,
it's
Thursday already scheduled for Thursday, January 3rd. Is there any reason not to just hold to that schedule, and those who can't attend don't attend?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just keep it, and then let's see.
Great. So have good times, everyone, and particularly Oleg.
Well, I will definitely have a good time, and you will unlikely see much my activities over the next months.
We are going to have a good time. You are going to have a partly good time.
No, a busy time. I'm pretty sure it's a good time either, but it's a busy time.
But overall, the experience is generally very good. I can say.
Okay, noted.
Yeah. We as humans generally remember the good thing. That's why we didn't extinguish the whole human race, in 3 generations. Because if we would not forget, then we would have killed ourselves.
Okay. On this note, I'll probably stop the broadcast.
Right. That's
thanks.
I mean that's kind of an advertisement for people. If you want to attend, they could see that it's not just boring.
Well, yeah. Next time, let's do something more active.
That's fine.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.